This tutorial is to show you how to design in Adobe Illustrator a laser cut Christmas tree. Here are some examples online. This is the one we drew some inspiration off for the one you can see here. How do you do that in Adobe Illustrator? Well, let's find out. So a new document. Here we go. A4 is fine, millimeters. Portrait, perfect. Just always make sure you select millimeters. It's good practice. Next up, we are going to view our rulers. So we can avail of the mirroring feature later on and get a lovely symmetrical Christmas tree. I'm going to be using the pen tool for a lot of this. I'm just going to start at the top of the tree. Trying to get a little bit of curve here, not too much. Perfect. So I'm clicking and dragging. Now you can see that my design just disappeared there from the background. The reason for that is I need to set my stroke and my fill over here, so I'll just go to default, and I actually don't want any fill in the background, so we're just working with lines. Back to what I was doing there. So click and hold. So I'm left clicking on the trackpad here. I'm working on a Mac, and I'm using my other hand to move the cursor around. That's looking fine so far. Now I want to draw the next piece. What I can do is I can continue down, or if I want a sharp edge like I have over here, I could click on the end point. Now, so you normally click here. Now I quite like that curve, so I'm just going to continue on. Click and drag. Perfect. And click and drag. Okay, I'll do maybe one more branch. Nice wide one. Perfect. Now I want to go straight down here, but the pen tool is letting me right now. So this is what I was talking about clicking on the endpoint. We'll just click there. If I hold down the shift key, I get a perfectly straight line. It's either 45, so horizontal, 45 degrees, or vertical. That looks pretty good. So I click here, let go of the shift key, and I'm gonna Command plus, and I'll zoom in just so I can get quite accurate here, holding down the shift key again, and onto our central line of symmetry. So that was Command minus to zoom out. Perfect. I'll hit escape to cancel that too. Selection tool. Excuse me. So what I've done is I've just hit the selection tool up here. V is the shortcut. Selected that. I want to copy. Command C, Command V. Now what I've just done there is I've copied the shape over. That isn't exactly what I want right now, so I'll show you an alternative that will be more useful for what we're trying to do right now. So we want to copy this shape over the central line of symmetry. So Command C, Command Shift V. That is just copy the shape directly on top of itself. So now I can go over to my handy Reflect tool. The Reflect tool is normally sitting under the Rotate tool, just here. So you click and hold, and then select the Reflect tool. And I want to zoom in a little bit. There we go. I'm going to click on this top point and the bottom point. So I'll reflect about this axis. And there we have our tree. Beautiful. Now next up, I'm just going to hold down Shift and select the other side of the tree, and I'll right click or two finger click on a Mac and group. There's our tree, well, our outline. Now if we go back to my original tree, you can see that we have little central section, excuse me, not a central section, a little border around here that will help us kind of join up our letters later. So in our original trees, you can see over here, that's what we're after. The wood is joined all the way across. Okay, now back to our current example. Remember, always save your work. Here we go. Save as. I'll save all that later. You guys, you save it. Now, we have grouped all this. Next thing, we want to object, path, join. So I've joined everything together, basically these are endpoints. And I am going to go to object, path, and offset path. Now, let's see how we go. I've set this to -10 millimeters. Now, what you will find is, depends on the size you draw your tree, you may need to play around with this. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that straight away. I'd say maybe a little bit of a thicker border would be good. So go Command Z and object, path, offset path, there we go. Try -15, see how it turns out. I'm losing the shape of the tree. The happy medium here will be maybe -12. Okay, I'm happy enough with that for now. Beautiful. We are pretty close to having our main tree. Now I'm just moving this up a little bit higher. Just leave a little bit of space for a stand down the bottom. Next up, we're going to put in our family names. So we have most important person in the house, Dad. You're important too, Dad. Let's see. And I'm just adding some very close relatives there. My nieces and nephews. Now at this stage we don't have to be too careful about where everything lines up. The one thing you really want is you want to pick a font you like. Now I originally went with this one here, which is Noteworthy. I'll try something new. I'll try this one for now. Popular Standard Black. Here we go. These should be pretty easy letters to join up. Stretch them out a little bit. I'm stretching out quite wide because I'll be changing, I'll be moving all this around a little bit later. I'll be joining these letters up. So first thing I want to do is right click and create outlines. And if you go in here, you'll see that's what we have, outlines of the letters. Back to preview. It's kind of more pleasant working in the preview section. That's it. Cool. Now all these letters are still joined up, so I will right click and ungroup the letters. And now it's a simple case of overlapping the letters. So it's easier working outline at this stage right now, just so I can see where the lines overlap. Here we do it. There may be other ways to do this in Adobe Illustrator, and if there are, if someone could let us know in the comments, that would be fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything, go down to my Pathfinder tool. You may not have it yet set up, so if you just go Window and Pathfinder, you'll be able to open it up, or I'll just click here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the divide tool. That basically chops all the lines at all the intersections. Excuse me. Okay, now the next task is a little bit tedious. So if there is a workaround again, I'd love to know about it. Save us a lot of time. Now, I need to delete basically these two lines right here. I'll zoom in so you can see. So what I do is I just click on the line and press delete twice, and then click and delete once. Here we go. Okay, so the system for this, we'll just cover it again. Here we go. Click, delete twice, click and delete once, and again, there you go. So just play around with it, get a system that works for you. Sometimes you can be lucky with what deletes. Sometimes you can delete too much. So there you have it. It's a laser cut. Well, it's a design for a laser cut Christmas tree, and all that needs to happen now is that file that we've just saved will be imported into the auto laser program that we use on the college laser cutter, and we can cut this out. As you can see, the tree is going to slot into this little slot we've created in the star. It's my tidy file, and I am good to go. So thank you for listening, and if you've got this far, well done. And I'd like to see some different versions of this tree. Come up with your own ideas. You are totally free to add on or modify or change or do whatever you like. It is your design. This is just meant as a how-to.